Welcome to NARAL's The Morning After. Each Thursday, our podcast brings you the latest on reproductive health care, progressive politics, and the fight to keep abortion safe and legal. NARAL's The Morning After is a production of NARAL Pro-Choice Ohio. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ProChoiceOH. Enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
Hi, I'm Randy.
I'm Gabe, and I'm watching the debate tonight.
Yay.
Are you guys watching? What do you think's going to happen?
Of course. I told Jamie earlier, I was like, I'm so excited and so nervous at the same time.
No.
I hope Hillary does well. I don't know. I'm like so curious as to what's going to happen and what kind of like Trump is going to show up. But I feel fairly confident that it'll be like, people are like, oh, is he going to be like the crazy Trump like he was in the debates? Or is he going to be like the more somber he's trying to be like in the last few weeks? But I feel like it's probably going to be a mixture of both because he can't help himself. Like, of course, his campaign manager and other people are probably going to be like, you need to talk policy and be more subdued. And I'm sure he'll probably do some of that stuff. And we'll probably be at one point at least shocked by, oh, wow, okay, that was a thoughtful answer. Right. But then also there'll be a time where like, okay, yeah, you're a dick.
Yeah. Well, I think the other piece that's really starting to piss me off, and I think it's because it's a combination of sexism and just general ridiculousness in politics, is this whole idea that like, if Trump doesn't like actually whip his dick out in the middle of this, like he's gonna win. Like, that's basically what they've been setting this up for.
He has a very low standard.
Yes. If he just stands up there and doesn't fall over or can make a complete ass of himself, he's gonna win. But in order for Hillary Clinton to win, she needs an A++ performance.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just so not right on about 500 different levels. So yeah, I'll watch the debate and I'll probably watch about 30 seconds of the analysis afterwards before I want to throttle something at my television and must turn it off because I'm already so over that.
Right.
And just all the debate is tonight talk.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, I mean that, they're saying that it's going to be one of the most watched debates in TV presidential debate history.
More than the Super Bowl, they're saying.
More than
really?
the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they put it
How
this
much
way.
were the commercials?
There aren't any.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I'm sure whoever gets the ad right before it starts is paying to the nose. But somebody put it this way. Normally when you have presidential candidates, 80% of the country's heard of them. You've got Hillary Clinton that we've known for decades and Donald Trump that we've known for decades. Everybody,
to some extent,
And so now you've got these people that everybody knows facing off in this debate. If I had to make a prediction, I think that Donald Trump, this is my concern, is that he's going to become so belligerently rude that he's going to come across as badgering Hillary. And then we're all going to be sitting here this time tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everybody in the country having the debate of, was that him being strong and her being weak, or was that him being an asshole and her having to deal with yet another asshole guy.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction.
Well, and that I think is where my biggest frustration and the kind of the sexism piece comes into this, is that when he becomes this belligerent asshole and she reacts in the way that normal people reacts,
right?
She becomes the bitch and he's the strong leader.
Yeah.
I see it all the time in my interactions with legislators when they start like badgering and get belligerent to me as I give testimony and I forcefully come back. I can see the looks on all of their faces, and because, I don't have the, I'm just going to let you beat up on me personality.
Yeah.
Then, I'm this, raging lunatic bitch and they're the calm, rational ones. And that's so not what it is. And so, because Hillary does not have Bill's personality, she is much more cold and reserved because she's lived in the world that we've lived in for, almost 70 years.
I think I've been called cold before. Yes.
Yeah. It's all these conversations about how society, reacts to you. And so because she does have that just more cold, reserved personality in general. And then when, Donald Trump tries to go after her, like we know they're going to, and then
Well, I think she's she's not Slick Willie, but she has a lot of practice. And as you were describing that, what I was picturing, the combination of Hillary and your own experience testifying, I'm reminded of when Hillary had to last year sit before a congressional committee and testify. And I think this was supposed to be some combination of Benghazi emails. I forget what exactly the actual.
I think it was just,
but it was like 10 hours.
Yeah.
And she sat there the entire time, never asking for a break, never having any sort of an emotional reaction, just calm, cool, and collected for 10 hours of, really rude asshole testimony. Connie Schultz pointed out, hey, this is going to be the moment that people are going to look back and realize, just how, serious Hillary is taking all of this. The fact that she's not letting these, repeated insults throw her off her game. And so, she definitely has the practice and the skills to be able to, not fall for the bullshit that Donald Trump's going to be throwing. So we'll
even
see.
if it includes threats to bring her husband's former mistress to sit in the front row.
So
and then that was crazy. I'm really mad that they don't want to do any fact checking. And he was like, the moderator shouldn't fact check me. And then today he's trying to say Lester Holt is biased and he's a Democrat, which is, he has no proof of that. And it doesn't really matter, but he's just trying to put out there that they're biased against him. But I mean, I realize you can't go back.
Facts are biased against Donald Trump.
Yes,
in general. Yes.
Exactly. So I don't know. I didn't realize I can't spend the whole time like being like, because he lies so much. I mean, like, this is a lie, but still, I feel like you have to have some kind of balance of, but then they made a good point because they said something about, Candy Crowley was the moderator for Obama and Romney. And when they had that debate and she was like, they were saying something about Romney said something about terrorism. And the president was like, you said that. And Candy was like, well, you did say that. And they were like, and now where is she? Like, basically, she's been shunned because she was told like, you did say that. You said the truth. But now apparently she can't be a moderator because she fact checked him, which is ridiculous.
Right.
So I don't know. That really pisses me off.
Right. Yeah. Well, the Clinton campaign put out 19 pages of different fact-checked lies that Donald Trump has said over the years.
19 pages.
Yeah. That's not 19 lies, 19 pages. So they've already sort of established, hey, if you hear any of these, these are the actual facts that they've laid the groundwork for that. So I think that's really good.
I know. I feel like at the same time, though, and for him, for his supporters, it doesn't matter. They don't care if he lies. I think for them, it's not about what he's actually going to do, what he says, what he lies about. They just like his persona and the fact that here's this, bombastic white guy saying everything that they want to say. And like, he's not politically correct. And we like that. So it doesn't matter if he's not going to do shit for us or if he lies all the time. Just keep doing what you're doing. We're going to vote for you.
Right. Okay. So that's tonight. We didn't have a chance to podcast last week, partly because we were doing some other stuff, including watching a hearing going on in Congress. So our That's What She Said of the week goes to Kierra Johnson, who's the executive director of urge.org. She's the head of their national operation and led up a hearing in front of Congress, speaking of congressional hearings, on the Hyde Amendment. And so took on Congress's objection to publicly funding abortions for low-income women. This is one of the biggest things that reproductive rights advocates and healthcare experts agree. Providing abortion access to low-income women is would be the most significant thing we could do to improve healthcare for low-income women. And so Kierra Johnson sat down in front of a really just nasty group of assholes in Congress. Jim Jordan, Steve King, all the usual suspects. She gets it. That's what she said this week because Louis Gohmert who's just a great guy on his own, made the comparison that we've heard in the State House, comparing abortion to slavery.
It's just so fucking backwards. But
Right.
anyway,
she had an amazing response. She had a lot of great quotes throughout the day, but this one was the one that really stuck out. She said, "It's interesting that we're bringing up slavery in this space. When you own somebody's decision, making, you own them."
yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I fucking hate it when I hear them try to compare slavery to abortion. It's the complete opposite. It makes zero sense.
Mm-hmm.
In slavery, you were forced to have a baby. And right now you're saying you're forcing women to keep having these babies. Like, I don't understand the point there. They're making the argument that we should still have slavery and we should still be enslaving these women to do what we want them to do,
Right.
and to basically tell me when I can reproduce or not reproduce and treat me like cattle. Like I'm only here because I have reproductive organs, and so I should be using them for what? And I'm like, why do you want low-income women to keep having babies if they can't afford it and they don't want to? And then you're going to be there to have to take care of, like.
But like in slavery, it's that baby is a commodity again.
Yes,
because
true.
we don't want you to have that baby and you to raise that baby.
Yeah.
We want you to have that baby so that you can give that baby to this good white Christian and fertile couple over there,
Exactly.
so that they can have a baby.
But half those babies won't even end up getting adopted, though.
Exactly.
They'll
So-
just be there.
Yeah. So, and it really does. I mean, when you start really kind of picking apart this abortion is equal to slavery argument that they keep making,
Yeah.
you find more and more things where slavery is exactly like the pro-life movement in so many
Yes,
ways.
it really is.
Slavery is slavery, and we never compare that to anything.
Yeah.
But when you take their argument and start picking it apart, the similarities are way more on this side than on our side. And I think the other piece of racist ridiculousness that we heard out of that hearing too was one of the other members, I don't think it was Gomer, it was someone else, actually compared low-income African-American women to dogs having litters of puppies.
Yeah, I think that was it was either Trent Franks or Steve King. It was one of the two. But
I think it was Frank. I want to say Franks, but don't fact check me on that one. But yeah, so
It wasn't Steve King. Only white people have contributed to America. It wasn't that guy.
It very easily could have been, because it's right along those same lines. But yeah, so yeah, it's at one point, and I don't even remember how they got into it, but at one point they started comparing, these women who need access to Medicaid funding for abortion care to dogs having litters of puppies, and how they shouldn't do that, and blah 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 blah. But they shouldn't do that. But we're also going to take care of one of their healthcare decisions away from them, so we're kind of forcing them to do that. But whatever.
Then give more access to fucking birth control. Then, like, what the hell? Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
There was so much. I mean, Kierra gets that's what she said, just because she was like the only one up there, like getting kind of, it really was a very similar like Hillary Clinton Benghazi, except for the fact that it did not last 10 hours. Praise the Lord.
yeah.
But, she was just getting bombarded on this issue because, for so long, the pro-choice movement left that one alone. Like, we can disagree on abortion, but, and we can disagree on this, but don't you think abortion should be legal? And when you really start looking at it, abortion legality doesn't really matter if you can't access it. And accessing it, one of the big pieces is, as Gabe said earlier, being able to afford it, being able to get coverage for it. So,
right.
Yeah. They don't care about poor people.
No.
So Kierra Johnson, she's the executive director of urge.org. If you go to our show notes, we'll have a link to her complete testimony. She did absolutely amazing. This is the second time where I've heard her really sort of take charge in a situation. The other time is she was one of two MCs during the big public display during Whole Women's Health oral arguments when the Supreme Court was inside hearing that testimony. We were all outside on March 2nd, you know, a couple thousand people all screaming and cheering and listening to, you know, tons of speakers, including our own Teresa Fetter and several other folks from Ohio. Kierra Johnson was one of the 2 MCs for that big event. So I'm really impressed, you know, seeing her in these sort of high pressure, high profile situations. So,
well, and we'll get back to Urge in a minute when we talk about OU too, because we love partnering with them and Allie and Haley and all those fabulous people here in Ohio too.
So, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
Keeping on the theme of racial issues, the Black Lives Matter movement continues to be critical in 2016. There were 3 high-profile shootings across the country over the past week, including one in Ohio. This now makes 3 in Ohio where somebody was holding essentially a BB gun.
In an open carry state.
Yes.
Most of these happen in open carry state.
Right.
Yeah.
Open carry state.
Those 3 happened in Ohio.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
North Carolina. Is it North Carolina or the South? That's open carry state. Oklahoma, are they open carry?
I'm not sure, but he wasn't armed, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, true.
North Carolina and in Oklahoma, neither one of them actually even had a toy gun.
Yeah, we're not sure. North Carolina is very like right now. It's not. The police say he did. The family said not. So right now, and if you've seen the videos, I really feel like you can't really tell for sure.
No.
So yeah, I don't know. But even besides that, like I said, it's an open carry state. They weren't even looking for him.
No. But he fit the description because the black guy had done something bad. So every black guy, therefore, is bad and needs to be investigated. But
you saw there was a really good decision that came out of Massachusetts that actually said that black men could reasonably flee from the police because they have a reason to be scared.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that they're guilty. That just means that the police are here.
I don't want to get shot, so I'm going to run.
I don't want to end up dead, so I'm going to run from you now. And they rule that is reasonable. Although on the flip side, they rule that you can't wear dreadlocks. But anyway, that's another day.
Well, and they also only I would actually find it also very interesting that, I mean, most of these like active shootings and these kinds of recently, you know, out of the car following, you know, those kind of things are happening to black men. But there are a lot of black women who are also getting shot or killed in police custody in various ways, Sandra Bland and those kinds of cases. So like it seems very interesting to me too that like it wasn't just people of color in that lawsuit. It was black men can run. Like, so what about the Latina man or the black woman, or, you know, do they also have the right kind of cause to want to flee? I mean, we all know inherently, yes, they do, you know, have it, but would the court rule in that same way with somebody else of a slightly different character? But
that would be interesting. Yeah. Because I'm just like, other people should join, because the police don't only shoot black men, like you're saying. They also shoot a lot of poor white people. But again, I just feel like we have so far to go, because this is since the slavery started before we even had a country. And so, it started with not just black people, but also poor white people, until, you know, they had an uprising and almost destroyed everything. And then they decided that we should make poor white people a little bit higher than black people, so that then they feel like they have a vested interest in slavery, because, you know, they're poor, but at least I'm not black. And that is the same mindset that we have today, and which is why nothing can change. Because honestly, if we all came together against the powers that be, the people who actually own all the power and wealth that keep us in the same way that they want us to be right now, we could definitely change things. But they don't want that, and so that's why we have the continuation of these policies and this like divisiveness, and saying that, you know, why do we need Black Lives Matter? Like, all lives matter. And I mean, it really just is ridiculous, and it makes me sad, because it's like all of those people who are, who feel like it doesn't apply to them as well when it really does, because they're still living in poverty. They still have bad schools. They still have some of the places in Appalachia have some of the highest drug rates, murder rates as much as the inner cities do. So it's just like, I don't know. It's very like troubling and sad to see that, but to know that it's like that. And that's why I say kind of people are like, oh, the system doesn't work the way it's supposed to. But actually, I think it's working exactly the way that they set it up and they intended to work. It's working. It's continuing to work that way.
Well, and I mean, it also, I think the Oklahoma one really showed, and I think the Ohio ones to a degree, especially now with Tyree King and being a 13-year-old boy. We've had a 12-year-old boy shot in Cleveland. You know, this whole idea that Black kids are more adult and threatening than white kids. Yeah. And that Black men are scarier than white men. We saw it play out in both places. Yeah, the guy in the helicopter.
He looks like a bad dude all the way from the helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's just, he's walking
what does
back.
that mean? Okay, we have to ask that person, what do you mean by that? He looks like a bad person. We know what he means, but still, it's like, that's the thinking and mentality that you have, and you're the police and you're supposed to be protecting everyone. But no, you have the mentality that you see a 6 foot, big Black man, and he's not wearing, a football uniform, so he must be dangerous.
Yeah, we only enjoy big Black men when they're playing sports, so we can enjoy them hitting each other and hurting each other. Yes.
Exactly. Otherwise, I mean, you would not believe seeing that and seeing like how people are really mad at Colin Kaepernick for his protest and the other athletes that are protesting. Like even myself at Georgia, just being a student there, I wasn't a student athlete, and being there and having to deal with, people coming to tailgate. And, I had these 2 older white men telling me that if I didn't move my car so they could set up a tailgate, they were going to slash my tires. My liaison telling me some white guy came up, called her a coon. But it's like, but you're happy that you have these Black athletes on the field winning for you. They're fine. But the Black students who are just here to learn, we need to leave.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
And you see it play out too so much in college athletics, especially when college students can't get paid.
Yes.
And so like with Ohio State a couple of years ago, like they needed money, so they were selling off their own memorabilia, which is also illegal. And championships were lost and careers were destroyed, where we're not supporting these players to the degree we should be supporting them, because they have to sell their memorabilia, and then you're coming around and punishing them for that is a whole other situation. But like again, like it's fine when we just get to enjoy them and watch them play on the field, but when they start
they're not a full human being because I'm an athlete, or because I'm, or at least told because you're wealthy people shouldn't protest injustice. Like you're still a human being, you still live here in this country, you still see things that are going on. And I mean, is your money making you bulletproof? I don't think so.
There's actually one more, and I want to talk about this real quick. But there's actually a women's volleyball team. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So they all laid down on the court during the national anthem at a game like last week or something like that, and then this week they got yelled at and in trouble for doing that. So this week they all stood because they were required to. But I guess a white guy, Army veteran, whatever, was in the crowd. I don't know if he was a family member. I missed that part, but I think he was a grandfather maybe of one of the players, wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. And he took a knee for the anthem, and they all do introductions and everything. So every time each one of the players got introduced, she went over and like shook that guy's hand for doing it. Yeah. So, even when, is
that a public school?
Yeah, I think it was a public school.
Yeah. We should be very concerned. Yeah. And it's not the only school I've heard about. They're trying to make the students, if they're trying to protest, make them stand. We should be very, very concerned that in America at public schools, you're going to make the students stand for the national anthem. Like, hello. I mean, no, that's not the whole point. I mean, you can disagree, but they still have the right to do that. And for people to keep saying like, oh, you need to stand, like, no, that's what they do in fucking North Korea. Like, that's not the point of what we're doing here.
Yeah, well, according to Trump's former Mahoning County chair, racism didn't exist before Barack Obama. So, what are they protesting, Randy? I mean, come on, seriously, right? Racism.
Yes. If you haven't been successful in the last 50 years, it's your own fault because you received every opportunity, and racism didn't exist before Barack Obama.
Actually, Black people had better access to college and better access to schools.
That's what she said. Kathy Miller
Yes.
was the chair of Donald Trump's campaign. You nailed the quote right there. She gets her walk of shame this week, claiming that racism did not exist before President Obama came along. The part of what she said, so the idea that racism didn't exist before Obama is obviously ridiculous.
Yes.
The thing that I thought was absolutely hilarious that people who aren't from Ohio, might not know, is the rest of the quote. I don't think there was any racism until Obama got elected. We never had problems like this. Now with the people with the guns and shooting up the neighborhoods and not being responsible citizens, that's a big change. And I think that's the philosophy that Obama has perpetrated on America. She's talking about how things are more violent now. She's in Mahoning County. This is the part that people not realize. Mahoning, the county seat is Youngstown, Ohio, which for decades, the nickname was the murder capital of the United States. Youngstown, I mean, it's definitely made, a lot of efforts to clean up. I know a lot of really great people from Youngstown.
Oh, yeah.
But it was not a violence-free zone until Obama got elected.
And it was ruled by the white mafia. I mean, Youngstown was like the center point of mafia activity in the state of Ohio and was known as the murder capital of the United States. And she's from there saying that they didn't used to kill people until Obama came around. You live in the murder capital of the United States.
Well, not anymore because that's Chicago, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now, but yes.
I don't understand. And someone who probably, I'm assuming she grew up in the 50s and 60s.
I mean, she's about that old.
Yeah. And to say that where there was no racism.
Right. And she says that I'm a real estate agent.
That was the part that caught me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a real estate agent and you can't recognize racism. You're looking to campaign a guy who's a real estate mogul who's been busted for racist real estate practices.
And she was practicing racist real estate practices. Sure. She ain't never showed a black couple a house in a white neighborhood ever.
No.
No.
She probably doesn't have black clients.
Well, true. I know, right? Really, Randy.
silly Randy. Black people don't need houses.
Okay.
So Kathy Miller, former campaign chair of Mahoning County, gets the walk of shame this week. So that was just asked.
There was really no. I mean, a lot of weeks we have to think about who gets the walk of shame. There was no competition in that one this week.
Wow, lady.
Okay, we got to move on to the agenda. Although we could do an hour on Kathy Miller. We had a great counter protest at Ohio University the other week. Randy, you led that. That's your turf. You want to talk about it? Yes.
Well, Annie came down as well, and she brought the giant uterus. The Create Equal people were out there, and they had the little graphic pictures, and they were trying to hand out brochures. So we actually linked up with the OU Med Students for Choice, I'm going to get their name wrong, I think it's the Feminist Majority or Feminist Equality Movement is what they're called. There it is. And also Generation Action, which is Planned Parenthood's campus group. I think and Urge, of course.
Urge was terrific out there.
Yes, exactly. They really, they were our main partner in it. And Haley from Urge and Allie from Urge really helped us set it up. And we got petition signatures. And like I said, Annie came with the dancing uterus. We had this really impromptu singing session with these two guys that just came up. I have a video. Well, I uploaded on my Google Plus, so we'll have to figure out something to do with it because it's pretty awesome.
Yes.
But anyway, so it was Annie dancing in the uterus, and they came up and started singing "Down with the Patriarchy," and he's like, and let's talk about the wage gap. And the other guys, and that's the reason you ain't got no money, honey. I was like, I love these guys.
Yeah, random OU students with the guitars serenading with feminist impromptu
It was
lyrics.
amazing. We're out there for about 4 hours. I didn't count how many.
It was a full 4 hours.
It was a full 4 hours. I'm not sure how many petitions we got because Urge took them, but we got a lot of those and just gave out condoms and stickers and buttons. And the students, when we held up signs, the students are really, really receptive. So it was a really awesome day.
It was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Something that happened there that I want to call out, though. We've seen this before. Created Equal sets up their signs. They've set them up
Yes.
before in
Yeah.
front of high schools. You know, they're trying to provoke reactions from people.
Yeah.
And they've got this little gimmick that they do is they all wear GoPros strapped to their chest so that they can record interactions with people.
Yeah.
And they have on some occasions called the police on people
Yeah.
who've, you know, they've provoked into a
Yeah.
fight.
One of them, I said if I was being like them, I could have called the cops because one of them bumped into me. Although I don't think she did it on purpose, though. But I could have still been a bitch about it.
Some masked man came, and I was feeding parking meters, so I didn't see it, but I've since watched the video. Some guy came, looked like he was holding like a mag light or something, and started smashing up their signs. And so now
knocking them over, not smashing them up.
Whatever.
Like that didn't actually look like it damaged them.
Yeah.
I don't think it actually damaged them. Yeah.
And so we got questions from reporters afterwards and says, well, do you know who this was? No, of course we don't know who this was.
We don't condone that violence.
And then they asked, you know, do you condone this activity? Well, no, of course we don't condone vandalism, whatever this was.
No. I feel bad for them, though.
After I rewatched the video.
What?
This masked person, you know, they had on a hoodie and a mask.
Yeah, I couldn't see his
and
face.
Came and smashed the thing and then stood and like glared at the Created Equal, but stood right in front of where Annie was standing with her
uterus
costume. This whole thing, start to finish, was a Created Equal photo op.
That's Gabe's theory.
This is Gabe's theory. I'll show you the video. They sent in a friend of theirs to go smash the stuff up and then pose
like
by our people so that they could get some pictures. And then this guy ran off. I'd bet you money if the police could track this guy down. He's like, you know, the cousin of one of the Created Equal kids. He's the roommate's boyfriend. This was a stunt that they pulled, and it was a really lame gimmick.
If you were there, you know, saying that, I don't know if I can co-sign this conspiracy theory, but
we'll watch the video.
We will watch the video, but I will say that after it happened, you're right, like the guy was hitting, and then he came up, and then one of the people from Created Equal came up, and it was so, well, you weren't there, so, but will you watch the video? It was so weird. When the guy was like, he comes up to me and the masked guy is literally just standing there before he runs off. And he in the middle of all of us pro-choice people. And then he's like, the Created Equal guy comes up and he's like, you do not have the right to vandalize our thing. It was just
it was a lovely skit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, but at the time I thought, why aren't you more upset, and why are you saying it so sing-songy like that? It was literally like you don't have the right.
It's because they like to play the victim. They're the victim at that point. They're not screaming and yelling at patients walking into a clinic because that's what they spend 90% of their time at. You hear
people who walk away when they say they don't want to be sure, they'll chase them.
Yes, they're not doing that anymore. They're the victim in this situation, so they're gonna be quiet and nice because you hurt me.
Right.
We were assaulted. Like the email talks about how they were assaulted. Their signs got hit. That is not assault.
No, none of them got touched.
Yes,
at all.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
So that was
a very interesting day.
So no, we don't condone violence. We also don't condone, you know, cheeseball school plays.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
So
no.
The other thing that we're keeping an eye on, we're always keeping an eye on Created Equal's protests. Ohio Right to Life, on the other hand, has been pushing a national campaign. There's definitely a movement to try and push later term abortion bans. We already see 20-week abortion bans introduced in the Ohio legislature. The lame duck session, for those who don't know the term lame duck, it's after the election when the legislature comes in at the very last part of the year, they act like a lame duck.
They act like general jerks. Actually, it should just be jerk asshole season, but you know, we have to call it something
general
that can
jerks.
be. Yes.
So we're expecting that the legislature will probably try and push some kind of an abortion ban during the lame duck season. It very well may be the 20-week ban.
They have so many to choose from.
Yeah, they do. You know, the other thing is we also have a lot of proactive pieces of legislation that are guaranteed to get hearings because they were introduced. So we might see probably all in one day.
Mhm.
A lot of our champions testifying before committees to talk about the value of providing increased access to affordable abortion care.
Yeah.
So as Rachel Maddow says, watch this space for Lame Duck. Okay, so we close it up and do Let's Get It On? You want to sing?
Let's get it on.
There we go.
Okay, so we've been having a lot of really awesome phone banks. Thank you all for coming out. We're going to continue having them all the way up until the election. Then, of course, also we're going to need you all to come out for Lame Duck. If you're interested in testifying, you want to write testimony, we're very happy to help you write it. Not me, Jamie and Gabe are, to help you. But we would love to have people, the more the merrier, people come out and share their stories, because I think that's important for legislators to hear.
Yes.
So again, if you want to do that, that would be really awesome. And also, like I said, come out to the phone banks. Right now, the last poll I saw was that Trump was on top here in Ohio. So you know what we need to do. We can't play around with this. It's very serious. So you need to be making phone calls right now. And you can so contact me at volunteer@prochoiceohio.org. Again, that's volunteer@prochoiceohio.org. Our phone number is 614-221-2594.
Or 1-800-GO-NARAL.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That one's really easy. All right.
Okay, so everybody volunteer, watch the debate tonight,
Yes.
and we'll see you maybe later this week,
Okay.
since it's a Monday.
Yes.
So we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.